Australia welcomed in 2015. This was a scene over the Sydney Harbour Bridge. Fireworks lit up the sky, and this is one of the most popular New Year's Eve celebrations in the world. They also set off a display of fireworks earlier to accommodate families with young children. And we have live pictures for you right now at Times Square in New York City. That's where the ball is set to drop at midnight. The Waterford crystal ball weighs nearly 12,000 pounds and it features almost 3,000 crystal triangles. The first New Year's Eve ball, by the way, that luring celebration in Times Square was held back in 1907. For a look at celebrations around the world, you can also visit our website, CP24.com. Right now it's 10:36 and -7. Let's get a check now on your weather forecast. We're joined by our weather specialist, JB Goodfrein.
What a chilly end to 2014. In fact, we're going to kick off 2015 on an even cooler note. Right now, we have temperatures well into the mid-minus teens when you factor in the wind chill. But once we hit that overnight low of around -9, we are going to welcome 2015 with temperatures hovering around -17, -18 with the wind chill. So bundle up if you are heading out this evening. But throughout the rest of your afternoon, -6 will be your daytime high. We're starting off with mainly sunny conditions. We are expecting the clouds to build throughout the afternoon. Strong west winds. We could potentially see wind gusts up to 60 kilometers an hour in some parts of the GTA. But overall, we're not expecting any active weather. There's still several snow squall watches and warnings in and around Georgian Bay. For us, we should remain dry, but as we move into the rest of your weekend, we are expecting some active weather. We'll talk more about that coming up in your full 5-day forecast.
Generally, we're in great shape in terms of roads. Let's get a look, for example, at the Don Valley Parkway. It doesn't matter whether you're southbound, northbound through Lawrence. That looks pretty good. However, just around the corner from Lawrence, there's a collision actually eastbound on Winford right over the Don Valley Parkway. We can see Toronto police are on scene right now. If you look really hard, you can see a couple of flakes in that stretch of Toronto. Eastbound of the Gardner Expressway, collectors through Islington. There's a road crew in the left lane. 401 for the most part is okay. Look at this on the 401 near the airport. We're seeing a little bit of light snow flurry activity. Same thing over near Western Road. Take it easy. The roads may be a little bit slick. In-town problems, Bayview north of the 401. There was a minor problem at Jane and Eglinton. Not a big deal. Out in the east end, the good news, Warden is now open south of St. Clair. Pooja.
Thank you, Bob. Well, the province's Special Investigations Unit is investigating a fatal shooting involving police. This was following a reported robbery at Warden Subway Station. And our Cam Woolley joins us now with the very latest on the investigation. We just heard from Bob that the station has been reopened. What about the investigation itself?
Well, the investigation is progressing. The Special Investigation Unit forensics team is working the scene. It's a massive scene, Pooja, here. A large Toronto community housing building. We're about 650 meters actually south of Warden Station. Trouble started just about 12:16 this morning. A witness called 911 reporting a man was in the process of doing an armed robbery at a TTC collector booth. The witness described a man pointing what appeared to be a handgun at the ticket collector. Ticket collector handed over some cash. The man gave a description to police. 41 Division and major crime officers responded very quickly. They tracked the man down to this apartment complex south of the subway. It's outside near the rear of the building. SIU tell us there was what they call an interaction between the man and police. They say a firearm was discharged. Witnesses tell us they heard several, as many as 4 shots. Witnesses describe officers doing CPR on the suspect. The man is 33. We're learning more about him. We spoke to a resident of the building named Mustafa. Tells us more about the man. Here he is.
Since he came to the building, he been into some trouble. He was in jail for assaulting his girlfriend or something like that. And that's all what I know. I helped him to get a lawyer. I remember he couldn't find a lawyer. And that's it.
Do something crazy.
Special Investigations Unit is continuing their investigation here, as well as Toronto Police. Police are investigating the armed robbery aspect of this. SIU looking at the police-involved shooting death. Back to you.
All right, we appreciate the update. Thanks, Cam. Now, police have arrested a second 14-year-old boy in a string of purse snatchings in the Bathurst and Front Street area. There were 4 separate incidents this past Sunday. In each case, women were approached by 2 boys demanding they hand over their purse. In one instance, the victim claims that one of the teens had a gun and fired it into the ground. The first suspect was arrested yesterday. Toronto police are preparing to address the media this afternoon on the 3-year anniversary of Mike Pimentel's death. The 24-year-old was fatally stabbed in Liberty Village after leaving a New Year's party at a nightclub near Exhibition Place. Police believe that he got separated from his friends and was involved in some sort of altercation. Police have since begun tweeting out clues of the unsolved case in hopes anyone with information will come forward. Officers will speak to the media at 2 this afternoon. Canada takes on its arch rival, the United States, at the World Junior Hockey Championship today, and it will be Connor McDavid versus Jack Eichel. It's all in the final round of the round-robin game tournament for both countries. This afternoon's game will determine who finishes on top of Group A. Eric Comrie will start in goal for Canada following his 17-save shutout against Germany earlier in the tournament. TSN's Mark Masters joined us with more on today's matchup.
It's one of those decisions where the coach is a genius if it works, and if it doesn't work, he doesn't know what he's talking about, right? You got Zach Fucale. He's from Quebec. He's a Habs prospect. He's played well. He beat the Americans on New Year's Eve last year, but Eric Comrie's had better numbers in the WHL and the CHL this season. He played really well against the Germans. I think the coaching staff wants to see what he can do on the big stage. He's never really played a lot of big games in his career. He's only played 6 playoff games in his WHL career, so this will be the biggest stage of his life in his career, and they're really eager to see how he responds. And then if he plays well, that's a good problem to have because he got 2 good goalies going.
And the puck drops at 4 p.m. at the Bell Centre in Montreal. You can, of course, catch all the action on TSN. Right now it is 10:42 -7. This is Toronto's breaking news. CP24, well, the recovery operation continues for the victims of that AirAsia flight that crashed in the Java Sea. We're going to have the latest in the story just ahead.
One of the biggest stories of 2014 was the race for mayor in the city of Toronto. Olivia Child, a lot of people just thought that it was a slam dunk for her. John Tory had experience in all kinds of politics. Rob Ford's candidacy for mayor was pulled out. Doug Ford is an exciting personality. That's why he was a threat. The results first started coming in. I looked at other people here in the newsroom. This was closer than we anticipated.
Breaking news. Victory for John Tory.
People want an end to the circus at City Hall, and that was John Tory's big card that he had to play.
What are you doing?
The dishes are clean. Just gotta scrape the rest of the food off them.
Ew.
Dish issues? Cascade Platinum powers through your toughest messes better than the leading tablet the first time. Cascade, love it or your money back.
At Burgell-McGency, we know that an accident doesn't just affect the injured person.
It affects their entire family.
We'll listen and help you understand your rights.
We'll treat you with respect and compassion.
And we'll fight to get you the compensation you deserve.
As if you were family.
For over 40 years, Burgell-McGency has recovered hundreds of millions of dollars for injured clients and their families.
Let our family help yours.
Burgell-McGency, 416-665-2000.
Well, it's getting late, huh?
I'll call you a cab.
No need. I'm driving.
Drinking and driving should never be the elephant in the room. Speak up. You could save a life. A message from the LCBO.
Welcome back. Well, the last group of people rescued from the Normal Atlantic ferry arrived in Italy this morning. The ship caught fire earlier this week with more than 400 people on board, and at least 10 people died. Italian prosecutors on Tuesday ordered the crippled ferry back to Italy as part of a criminal investigation. A Canadian-born woman who now lives in Greece with her husband and 2 sons is among the survivors. She describes the chaos and the terror that she felt.
We just sort of looked at each other. We said goodbye to the boys. We told them we love them. There was panic in their eyes. They were terrified. The worst thing you could ever do as a parent. And we were just sitting there hugging each other in the middle of this chaos because there wasn't anything we could do or anywhere we could go. And at that point, though, where the 50 people were trying to get onto the lifeboat, the floor started burning up. So everybody ran away screaming in panic. And my husband grabbed this opportunity to pull us down the stairs, to put us over the railing, and push the boys into this lifeboat, me and himself. At the end, we were the last people in this lifeboat. And the scary part was that we were dealing with 20-meter waves. So the lifeboat was swinging away from the ship, and it was banging into it. And I saw a lady fall into the sea.
Wow, well, we're getting our first look at new video taken on board the ferry after the fire broke out. This video was shot by Turkish passengers on board the ship. They spent 2 days on the upper deck as the lower deck and garage were on fire. You can see thick black smoke coming from the ship and the passengers waiting to be rescued. The recovery operation continues for the victims of Air Asia Flight 8501. Family members of the victims prayed for strength as the first bodies were returned to begin the identification process. Heavy rains and wind are hampering the recovery operation on the Java Sea. The search continues for the cockpit voice and data recorders, but there are fears that the bad weather is causing wreckage to drift further from the crash site. The plane was carrying 162 passengers and crew when it disappeared on Sunday. The death toll in the Philippines has risen to 53 after a tropical storm lashed the country. Most of the dead were in the country's central island provinces, which were also devastated by last year's Typhoon Haiyan. Mudslides are causing much of the worst damage, trapping people in their homes and under debris. More than 136,000 have fled their communities and taken refuge in emergency shelters. Forecasters say the storm has weakened and should dissipate by the end of the day over the west of the country. Questions are being asked about why a nurse was allowed to take a commercial flight home to England from Sierra Leone. The nurse was diagnosed with Ebola and is currently in quarantine at the Royal Free Hospital in London. She complained about feeling sick while waiting for a flight to Glasgow at Heathrow Airport. Many are now questioning whether the precautions currently being taken are enough to prevent an Ebola outbreak. England's chief medical officer responded to the concerns.
The nurse was cleared for flight home because her temperature, when checked repeatedly, was in the acceptable range and she had no symptoms. The process does sound to have not been as good as we would all want to see. 37 healthcare workers coming in together off one flight, and we're always reviewing what happens and learning from things, and I know that Public Health England will have to make some changes when they're expecting significant groups of people at any one time.
And the nurse returned to England on Sunday and developed a fever on Monday. Her temperature was taken 7 times before she was allowed to fly. Well, autopsies on the 9 bodies recovered in the worst mass murder in Edmonton's history will be completed by tomorrow. Police say a man killed 6 adults and 2 children under the age of 10 before taking his own life. The motive for the massacre appears to be a planned and deliberate act of domestic violence. According to police, the suspected gunman had a lengthy criminal record involving violence and drugs dating back more than 2 decades. CTV's Melanie Nagy is in Edmonton, and she joined us live a short time ago with the latest.
This all began Monday evening when police were called to a home in the southwest area of Edmonton. When they arrived, they found Cindy Duong dead. They believe the suspect went into the home, opened fire, and then fled. Then this brings us to where we are now. Police were called to this home about 90 minutes later. That's where they were called on a suspicious case of a suicidal male, possibly. When they came, they said nothing was suspicious, so they left. But when they returned shortly after midnight, that's when they made the grim discovery here.
And a memorial outside the home is growing today as mourners leave flowers in memory of the victims. First responders to the scene are being offered counseling to help them deal with the trauma. Right now it's 10:49 and -7. Coming up, a check on the roads for you. Also a check into the forecast. A lot of people wondering about the forecast for tonight, but also on the weekend we could be dealing with some active weather. We'll talk a little bit more about that in your extended forecast. Also, we want to leave you with some live pictures in Hong Kong, where celebrations are about to begin, ringing in 2015 at Victoria Harbour.
What do you want, Spencer?
I want to know why you're protecting her.
Bethany Young's parents have petitioned the court to have your bail revoked.
You don't have to hide from anyone anymore. Let other people hide from you for a change.
My daughter is dead. Poor is she. I'm gonna go to jail because of her. Somebody's dead because of her.
An all-new season of Pretty Little Liars premieres Tuesday at 8, exclusively on M3.
Mr. Clean hates waste almost as much as he hates dirt. So when he created his liquid muscle cleaner, he not only made it more powerful, he also designed it with an auto-stop cap that dispenses just what you need, unlike those other cleaners. Mr. Clean Liquid Muscle.
Are you coming to the tree?
Mockingjay Part 1 is the best games yet. Jennifer Lawrence is tremendous. Don't miss The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1. Now playing.
Sound like your furnace? Better call Reliance before it breaks down. We've been helping keep Canadians comfortable for over 50 years. And if you buy a new furnace now, we'll take $400 off our regular price. Plus, you won't have to pay for 1 full year. Sound good? Call Reliance now, because we're not comfortable until you are.
If you've been the victim of a car or slip and fall accident, there's only one law firm and one telephone number you need to know. The Presler Law Firm at 1-800-JUSTICE.
Well, it was a bitterly cold start to the day. Unfortunately, temperatures are going to remain well below seasonal. We should be closer to -1, and your expected daytime high for today is -6. Now, with the wind chill, it's probably going to feel closer to around -14 to -16. So you need to bundle up from head to toe as we ring in the new year. Throughout the rest of the afternoon, we're expecting a mix of sun and cloud. Right now, it's mainly sunny here in the downtown core, but expect the clouds to build throughout the rest of your afternoon and your evening. Now, moving into tomorrow, a -4 will be your daytime high. It is going to be relatively cloudy. Don't expect a whole lot of sunshine. Now, Friday, we are expecting a few scattered flurries, probably hovering around -1 as your daytime high, back towards 0 as we move into the weekend. We could see a few flakes. It is going to be rather windy throughout the rest of your weekend. Strong winds out of the west, potentially up to about 40 kilometers an hour. And then come Sunday, we're going to see a significant warm-up. 4 degrees will be your daytime high. Unfortunately, we could see some mixed precipitation. It's about to get quite messy, and then we're going to see quite a dramatic drop in the temperatures moving into the overnight lows on Sunday evening into Monday morning, hovering around -11. And as I mentioned, if you are heading out tonight to ring in the new year, bundle up from head to toe. Your overnight low is around -10. That's without the wind chill. Let's send it back inside.
Well, looking at the radar, some snow squall activity up to the north of Barrie, out to the west of Toronto, but you don't have to go far to find snowflakes. Let's get a look at, for example, Don Valley Parkway near Eglinton. We can see a little bit of snow activity, and there's a problem still being cleaned up eastbound Winford over the Don Valley Parkway. No snow, but there's a road crew working in the left lane, eastbound Gardiner Expressway, and the collectors through Islington, the Gardiner right now, actually in pretty good shape. Let's get a look at a little bit of flake activity out near the airport through the area near Dufferin. We've been looking at some snow activity, and out in the east end, it's actually getting to be just a little bit darker. It was actually sunny just a moment ago along the 401 through Nielsen. Bayview north of the 401, that problem's being cleaned up, and the problem has now cleared on Warden south of St. Clair. Pooja.
Thank you, Bob. Right now it's 10:54 and -7. This is Toronto's breaking news. CP24. Well, what you put on your toast says more about you than you think. We're going to tell you why coming up.
You think there's not a lot.
Chicks dig gas, guys.
Oh, absolutely.
Bring your gold and jewelry to Orit, Toronto's highest-paying gold buyer.
Come in and see me today to get the most cash for your gold, jewelry, diamonds, watches, and silver.
Located at 900 Steep Rock Drive off Allen Road, 4 lights north of Shepherd, near the Downsview subway station.
Orin is better.
International Pool and Spa Center's Boxing Week sale is held over. Up to 60% off. Free 60-inch Sony TV with a co-spot to the first 5 purchases per day. Or save big on a Churchill billiard table from only $19.95. Oshawa, Mississauga, and Barrie. Sale held over until January 4th.
Are you in debt as a result of a motor vehicle accident and you need help now?
If you were a victim of an accident,
call our 24-hour hotline anytime
to speak personally with a representative.
Trust the name you know.
Reef
Refinancing or renewing your mortgage? Get trusted advice and put more money in your pocket, not your bank's. Call or visit monstermortgage.ca. Be loyal to yourself first.
You know how she keeps it interesting? She mixes it up.
With Nice and Easy, you can shift a shade and still look like your most amazing you with our broadest spectrum of natural-looking shades.
You know what I love? She always keeps me guessing.
Shift a shade with Nice and Easy.
Bring your gold and jewelry to Orient, Toronto's highest-paying gold buyer.
Come in and see me today to get the most cash for your gold, jewelry, diamonds, watches, and silver.
Located at 900 Steep Rock Drive off Allen Road, 4 lights north of Shepherd, near the Downsview subway station.
Orient is better.
Happy New Year, Toronto. I'm meteorologist Bill Coulter. After an unseasonably warm Christmas, winter is back. What it means for tonight's celebrations and what you can expect for your return home. We're watching the skies and the streets live on Toronto's breaking news, CP24.
Well, we now know what our breakfast choices say about our personalities. According to a new study, achievers eat hot white toast and then dip their butter knife in the jam. Perfectionists, they cut off the crust and then cut the toast into triangles. The protector chooses thinly sliced wholemeal bread with honey. And those who believe in the statement, you only live once, they tend to go for thick-cut white bread, burnt and smothered in jam. The study actually revealed 15 different personality types, solely based on the subconscious decisions made at breakfast time. Achiever. Right now it's 10:57 and -8. This is Toronto's breaking news, CP24. Well, it's New Year's Eve with celebrations around the world. Right now you're just looking at live pictures in Hong Kong, and we actually have some more live pictures for you. They're all just getting ready to ring in 2015. Here's a look at Beijing, some live pictures from there. And finally, we want to show you what's happening in Taiwan. This is Taipei, just a few minutes away from ringing in 2015. Up next, we have George Legajanis with your top news headlines. Stay with us.
Dad, can I run the Oakville store? Oh, yeah. Bring us your gold, watches, diamonds, jewelry. We will loan you cash. If you need money, come down. Oakville is the good location. Cash on the spot. Oakville, baby.
Well, it's getting late, huh?
I'll call you a cab.
No need. I'm driving.
Drinking and driving should never be the elephant in the room. Speak up. You could save a life. A message from the LCBO.
You know how she keeps it interesting? She mixes it up.
With Nice and Easy, you can shift a shade and still look like your most amazing you with our broadest spectrum of natural-looking shades.
You know what I love? She always keeps me guessing.
Shift a shade with Nice and Easy.
I am Robin Hood. The classic tale is reimagined. Introducing The Heart of Robin Hood. A heart-pounding, eye-popping spectacle with breathtaking acrobatics, laugh-out-loud comedy, and original music by acclaimed indie roots band Parsons Field. It's Sherwood Forest like you've never seen it before. The Heart of Robin Hood. For tickets, call 416-872-1212 or book at mervish.com.
A.H. Wilkins Auctions and Appraisals. Whether you are buying or selling, we specialize in appraising Chinese art, jade, bronze, and porcelain. Know the value of what you have. A.H. Wilkins Auctions and Appraisals, Toronto and Oakville.
Big events mean lots of greasy plates. And who cleans more? It's Dawn. That's because Ultra Dawn has active suds. Compared to the leading non-concentrated brand, it cleans 2 times more greasy dishes. A drop of Dawn and grease is gone.
Do you have good credit, bad credit, no credit? Don't worry. Come to see me if you need a loan. I, Russell, the loan arranger Oliver, will give you a loan immediately. Bring me your gold, diamonds, watches, jewelry, and you will get a loan in a matter of minutes. Oh, yeah.
That's a live shot from Taipei as the Taiwanese are ringing in 2015. Celebrations are in full swing, in fact, right across Asia right now. Beijing also welcoming in the new year 2015 with a big party, lots of fireworks at the Olympic Park. And an incredible live shot. Look at that. That's Hong Kong, where thousands have gathered for that city's annual fireworks display over Victoria Harbour. We'll have more celebrations from around the world coming up. Spectacular. It's just past 11 and -8. From 299 Queen Street West, you're watching Toronto's breaking news. CP24. Good morning. I'm George Lagajanis, and in just a matter of hours now, we'll also be saying farewell to 2014 and hello to a brand new year. There's a live shot of some youngsters skating at Nathan Phillips Square. Hundreds and thousands, in fact, are expected to gather tonight there to ring in 2015. This year, new Mayor John Tory will be leading the countdown. Let's go live now to the square. Arda Zakarian's there, getting a little head start on the celebrations. Good morning, Arda.
Yeah, hi, good morning, George. And right after that countdown tonight, there will be 8 minutes of fireworks, and it will be all choreographed to music. And we're here at Nathan Phillips Square. Lots of people are skating, and for many, this is a tradition, and for others, this is their very first time on the ice. And with me right now is Jen,
Nora, Tristan,
Julian. And tell me, this is your first time here today?
It is, yes.
And how do you like it so far?
It's awesome.
Oh, what a great way to describe it. And what about you, Tristan?
It's really fun, except for I'm not very good on this ice.
Oh, but you'll get better. Every time you come down here and skate, you get better and better. And so tell me, Tristan, I know, Julian, you're from England. So how are you spending New Year's Eve today?
Well, we're visiting Toronto for New Year's. We're originally from Toronto many years ago, so we used to come out and skate on Nathan Phillips. So my kids are back here for holidays, and it's just great for them to have the experience as well.
And do you have any family traditions that you do at on New Year's Eve?
Drinking and staying up too late. So.
Wonderful. Sounds like fantastic traditions to me. What about you?
Yeah, our family makes a list of all the good things that have happened during the year, and we go through that and kind of relive the memories.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much for that. So if you do plan on coming down to Nathan Phillips Square, the celebrations start tonight at 8 o'clock and go all the way until past midnight, 12:30. There will be some road closures as well from 11 o'clock until 12:30. Bay Street will be closed from Queen until Dundas, and I have that same family tradition. My mom makes us go all around the table and say 3 great things that have happened to us in the year, and mine is working at CP24. Now I get to talk to George Lagajanis every day.
Yeah, way to grease up the bosses right before the new year. I'll help you negotiate your contract. Very nice.
Thank you, George.
And I like his thing. You know, that it's an English tradition, drinking and staying up late.
That's right.
Thank goodness for the colonies. Arda, thanks very much.
You're welcome.
And with New Year celebrations taking place across the city, there are plenty of options to help you get around safely. Nathan Downer joins us now live with more. Morning, Nathan.
Good morning, George. Well, the obvious message from Toronto Police, don't drink and drive. And you've got a lot of options as well to avoid even having to deal with the possibility of that. For one, the TTC is offering free service from 7 at night till tomorrow morning at 7. So that's an option right there. Uber expects to be busy tonight. That's the ride-sharing service. They say that it's best to sort of make plans in advance. Toronto cab companies say this will be their busiest night of the year. Toronto Police, by the way, they're going to be out in full effect with their ride program tonight. We spoke with Officer Clint Stibbe earlier, and here's more.
The most important thing is don't drink and drive. It's a very simple decision. It's not a mistake. It's a conscious decision when a person gets behind the wheel of a motor vehicle and operates that vehicle while drinking.
One other note, Go Transit, they're offering free service as well beginning at 8 o'clock tonight, and they're also offering some other things as well. So we're going to be talking to somebody from Go Transit at Union Station a little bit later to give you more as to what they're offering as well. So again, George, lots of options for those who are heading out tonight. Back to you.
Nathan, thanks very much. We'll check back later. And if you're planning on popping bottles tonight, you're looking for that perfect bottle of bubbly, well, you won't have until midnight. The LCBO is reminding shoppers of the New Year's Eve hours. Now, most of the store locations will close their doors at 6 tonight. That's well ahead of the parties. The LCBO will be closed tomorrow all day, but then they'll open up again on Friday for regular business. If you have some last-minute errands to do tonight before the parties, most businesses are open today, but they're going to close early. Now, as for tomorrow, it is a statutory holiday, so this is what's closed. Banks, post offices, most of the grocery stores, the beer stores, and LCBO. But if you want to go out and do some shopping with the family, some of the malls are open. Eden Centre opens, in fact, at noon tomorrow. They stay open till 5. Square One, Bramalea City Centre, and Vaughan Mills will all be open as well. And right around the world, celebrations have already begun to welcome in 2015. We'll begin with Hong Kong. Fantastic celebrations there. We looked at the fireworks from Victoria Bay at the beginning of the show. Take a look at this. Still going, and it will be, I'm sure, for a long time. It's also now switched to Taipei, Taiwan, where the new year is well underway. Actually, that's Beijing first. That's the Bird's Nest Stadium, the Olympic Stadium. You remember that from 2010. Now let's go to the Vatican. Vatican City. There's the Pope helping to ring in the new year. Pope Francis leading prayers of thanksgiving, in fact, for the past year, looking ahead. And in New Zealand, revelers have already rung in 2015. That happened about 6 a.m. our time in Auckland. Fireworks lighting up the skies behind the famous Sky Tower. And at 8 this morning our time, Sydney, Australia welcomed 2015. This is what it looked like over Sydney Harbour Bridge. Fireworks, a huge display lighting up the skies. This really is one of the biggest, most popular New Year's Eve destinations on the planet. They also set off some fireworks earlier to accommodate families that had young kids that wanted to see everything before they conked out. Okay, time now to check traffic and weather. We'll begin with a look at the short-term forecast. Upstairs and outside to our weather specialist, Jamie Goodfreund, and we are going to be chilly tonight.
Absolutely, and actually right now we're getting some unexpected flurries here in the downtown core. Just very light, not expecting any major accumulation, but we still need to point out that there are localized snow squall watches and warnings in effect up towards the shores of Georgian Bay, Barrie, Aurelia, Grey Bruce. Remain under those warnings. They can see upwards of 15 centimeters over the next 12 hours. Wind speeds very gusty out towards Pearson, especially here in the downtown core, topping 40 kilometers an hour. So that -8 actually feels 8 degrees cooler. -6 is about as warm as it's going to get for today, well below seasonal, and with the wind chill feeling closer to around -16 down to -14. So bundle up if you are going to be heading out, especially if you're going to be hanging out near Nathan Phillips Square. It's going to be bitterly cold once we ring in the new year. We'll have more details on your long-term forecast. It's coming up in a bit.
Let's go to Burlington. MTO cameras looking at a problem on the Burlington Skyway. It's Niagara bound. Collision in the left lane, Niagara bound on the Burlington Skyway. And yeah, that's backing things up if you're Niagara bound trying to get over the Skyway. Getting a look at the Gardner Expressway. Still that road crew in the left lane, eastbound Gardner Collectors through Islington. Checking out the Don Valley Parkway south of Eglinton. Look at that snow coming down through that stretch. Not as much snow, but they've cleared the problem eastbound Winford at the Don Valley Parkway. 401 out near Kipling, seeing a little bit of snow there as well. From Peel Police, good spot out to be there's a collision at Bloor and Fieldgate. Toronto Police are checking out a report of a problem up at Rexdale and Islington. George.
Bob, thanks. Ontario Special Investigations Unit, the SIU, is now probing a fatal shooting that involved police after a reported robbery was happening last night at Warden Subway Station. Cam Moley joins us now live with the very latest on the investigation. Good morning, Cam.
Morning, George. Pretty large scene here. We're south of the Warden Subway Station where the trouble started. It was about 12:16 this morning. A witness called 911 reporting he was actually watching a man armed with what appeared to be a handgun pointing it at a ticket collector. The ticket collector handed over cash. The witness gave an excellent description to Toronto Police. 41 Division officers swarmed the area along with officers from Major Crime, and they tracked the suspect down about 650 meters south to this building at 682 Warden Avenue. There was, according to SIU, an interaction between the suspect and police at the rear of the building. We're just pointing in that general direction right now. Witnesses tell us that they heard gunshots, as many as 4 gunshots. Witnesses tell us they saw police doing CPR on a man there. Paramedics arrived, but the man was pronounced dead here on the scene. The man is 33 years old, and we're told by residents that he was had recently moved into this building. Residents also tell us that the man had a bit of a troubled past. SIU are currently investigating on the scene with the police use of force, the police shooting, and Toronto Police investigating the armed robbery aspect of this. Back to you.
Cam, thanks very much for that report. Police have arrested 2 14-year-old boys after a string of purse snatchings near Bathurst and Front. There were, in fact, 4 separate incidents that happened this past Sunday. In every case, women were approached by 2 boys who demanded that they hand over their purse. In one instance, the victim claims that one of those teens had a gun and fired it into the ground. Toronto Police are getting ready to address the press today on the 3-year anniversary of the death of Mike Pimentel. The 24-year-old was fatally stabbed in Liberty Village after leaving a New Year's Eve party at a nightclub near the X. Now, police believe he got separated from his friends and got involved in some sort of altercation with others. Now, since then, police have begun tweeting out clues of this unsolved case, hoping to get any new information, any new leads. Officers will speak to the press at the intersection where the young man was killed at 2 this afternoon. And police in Edmonton continue to investigate the worst mass murder in the history of Edmonton after 9 bodies were discovered yesterday. CTV's Melanie Nagy joins us now live from Edmonton with the latest. And Melanie, this is everyone so incredulous when we first heard about this thing. Alberta had to deal with that Calgary student stabbing incident, and now this. It's really got to do something to the psyche of everyone in that province.
Yeah, I mean, of course, people here in this neighborhood, people here in this city, they're shocked and struggling to make sense of this mass murder. I mean, police have called it a senseless mass murder. They've also called it an extreme example of domestic violence, but they're also calling it one that was planned and deliberate. We are learning more information about the investigation. Late last night, police did identify one of the victims in this case. There were 8 victims, 7 of which were found in this home behind me. 2 of them were children. Now, the one victim that has been identified is 37-year-old Cindy Duong. And this all began Monday evening, and that's when police were called to a home. And at that home, at about 6:37 in the evening, they found Cindy Duong's body. Now, people who live in that area say they believe she was a mother of 3. Now, from there, we know that police were called to the residence where I am right now. They were called here about 8:30 in the evening, and they were called because there were reports of a man who was emotional, possibly suicidal. When they came here, they found nothing suspicious. However, when they returned shortly after midnight, that's when they made the grim discovery and found the bodies here. And then this all ended early in the morning on Tuesday at a restaurant outside of Edmonton in Fort Saskatchewan, where police say they found the suspect in this case dead of an apparent suicide. So this is still an active investigation. The police tape remains up. As well, though, there is a memorial that has been building. There's toys, flowers that have been left here, because as we were mentioning earlier, this is a community that's really struggling to make sense of what happened.
And Melanie, a lot of what led up to it is still conjecture and supposition at this point until we get all the facts. But this man that was known to police, and the question that's sort of hanging out there is, could this have been prevented? I think we know that the firearm that was used to commit these murders was a stolen gun.
That's right. Police did release more information about the suspect. They haven't released the identity, but they said this man was known to police, had an extensive criminal record dating back to the 1980s. As you mentioned, they also gave information about the weapon used, 9mm handgun, legally registered in British Columbia in the 90s, but reported stolen from Surrey, BC in 2006. As well, police said they had been called to this residence before in 2013 for a domestic violence issue, as well as in 2013 was a welfare checkup. 2012 was a domestic violence issue. So there was a history with this suspect. Now, as for the identification of the remaining victims and the suspect, police say that the autopsies need to be completed. They don't expect that to be done until tomorrow. So hopefully more information in the coming days.
CTV's Melanie Nagy reporting live from Edmonton in the wake of the scene of the worst mass murder in that city's history. Thanks so much. In other news now, Ontario's tough new anti-smoking laws will come into effect with the beginning of 2015. Smokers will no longer be able to indulge in their habit on a patio of a restaurant or bar, as well as at playgrounds or publicly owned sports fields. Now, changes to the Smoke-Free Ontario Act also include a ban on the sale of tobacco products on college and university campuses. The government estimates that about 113,000 Ontarians die every year because of tobacco products. That's about 36 people each and every day. In sports news now, Canada takes on its arch rival, the Americans, at the World Junior Hockey Championships today in Montreal. It'll be Connor McDavid versus Jack Eichel in the final round-robin game of the tournament for both countries. This afternoon's game at 4 will determine who finishes on top of Group A. Eric Comrie will start in goal for Canada after his 17-save shutout against the Germans earlier in the tournament. TSN's Mark Masters has more on today's big matchup.
Based on what they've done so far in this tournament, boy, oh boy, they look really good. Things are about to get a lot tougher tonight with the Americans, but Canada's playing with a lot of skill, a lot of pace. They're getting the goaltending, and I'd have to say at this point of the tournament, yes, if they don't win gold, you'd be pretty disappointed when this thing's done.
And no golds in 5 tournaments for Canada, no medals of any color in the last 2 tournaments. The puck drops at 4 o'clock at the Bell Centre in Montreal. America, Canada, you can catch all the action live on TSN. And preparations are also underway for another holiday hockey tradition. It's the NHL Winter Classic, and it's going to be played tomorrow. The Washington Capitals will host the Chicago Blackhawks at the baseball park, Nationals Park, the Diamond, for this annual outdoor tradition. The league says the game will honor members of the American military and will also include some performances by Billy Idol, Gavin DeGraw, and Lee Greenwood. Should be a great show and a great game. You're watching Toronto's Breaking News, CP24. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll have traffic with Bob, and Jamie's got your New Year's Eve forecast.
In a world where everything is frozen, there's only one destination that will warm you up. 8 new series. 64 premieres, 6 shark-infested hours, 15 days of marathons, a naked New Year. One awesome channel. Discovery's Holiday Bash continues today.
Amanda Lena's Bridal Blowout Sale, January 2nd to the 4th. Save up to 80% off on designer wedding gowns from $2.99. Mother's gowns, evening gowns, prom dresses, and more. Amanda Lena's Bridal Blowout Sale, January 2nd to the 4th. 177 Whitmore Road, AmandaLenas.com for more details.
Hey, baby, won't you take a chance? Let's dance.
Your baby will feel like dancing when they wake up dry in Pampers Baby Dry. While ordinary diapers only have 2 layers, Baby Dry has 3 absorbent layers, so it stays up to 3 times drier for up to 12 hours of protection and good mornings. Wishing you love, sleep, and play. Pampers. And for outstanding leak protection while potty training, try Pampers Easy Ups.
If you're injured in Ontario in a car or slip and fall accident, the choices you make today could dramatically affect your life tomorrow. Make the right choice. Call us for a free consultation at 1-800-JUSTICE. And remember, you do not pay unless we recover money for you.
Welcome back, everybody. Time to check your New Year's Eve forecast now. Here's Jamie Goodfroy.
Well, thanks again, George. Let's talk about some of the active weather on the go right now. We're starting to get a few flakes here in the downtown core. A little unexpected, but you know what? Overall, it is a chilly start to the day. It's all about the temperatures as we close off 2014 and ring in 2015. So we're going to be well below seasonal for today. -6 is about as warm as it's going to get. So you can see a lot of this scatter flurry activity starting to creep into southern Ontario. We have localized snow squall watches and warnings in effect around Georgian Bay. The wind speeds definitely playing a factor behind the cooler temps. We've got wind gusts at about 40 kilometers an hour here in the downtown core, and that -7 feels a lot cooler when you factor it in. Probably feeling closer to -15, -17 out towards Pearson, -18 right now through Guelph and Hamilton. So for tomorrow, overcast, cloudy, flurries expected, -4. We cool down to about -1 on your Friday. A few flakes in store. Moving into the weekend, not too bad to kick off Saturday, but by the evening hours, about 5 to 10 centimeters of snow is expected, 0 degrees, and +4 on your Sunday. But we're calling for some mixed precipitation, a little bit of a rain-snow mix, and it is going to be quite gusty at about 40 kilometer an hour winds coming from the west. -10, that's your overnight low without the wind chill.
Let's go back to Burlington. One problem gone. Looks like a new problem. Niagara bound over the Burlington Skyway. Almost the same spot. This one blocking the second lane from the left. The other one was in the left lane. Gardner Expressway still had road crew in the left lane. Eastbound Gardner collectors through Islington, not affecting the flow of traffic. Gardner, pretty good, including westbound if you're headed out of town. Look at the snowflakes along the Don Valley Parkway through Eglinton and northbound Parkway starting to build a little bit through that stretch near Eglinton. A little bit more snow up on the 401. We're looking at a delay now. Westbound 401 through Kipling. Out in the east end, no snow, and look at the go. Sorry about that. I just wanted to work it in, make it rhyme somehow. In town from Peel Regional Police, a problem spot, Bloor and Fieldgate, and from Toronto Police, there's a collision up at Rexdale and Islington. George.
Bob, thanks very much. It's 11:20 and -8. You're watching Toronto's breaking news. CP24, the last group of survivors on board that Greek ferry that caught fire in the Adriatic Sea, has now arrived in Italy. More on the investigation when we come back.
TV is awesome, and you can never get enough of the good stuff. That's why you will truly love Crave TV. $4 a month gets you some of the best shows ever. Anywhere you watch TV. Full seasons, full series, including classic HBO titles. Crave TV. All you can watch for $4 a month. To subscribe, call your TV service provider.
Harold, the jewelry buyer, has the cash you need and now announces a new service in Toronto. If you have an urgent need to sell your house for whatever reason, Harold can help.
Why continue to struggle? For a price slightly below market, I will buy your house and contents with a 15-day closing.
Plus, first and second mortgages arranged within 5 business days. No income statements, no credit checks. Call 647-400-GOLD. The jewelry buyer, the one you can trust. Bathurst Street, 1 Light, south of Lawrence.
The bridal gown event of the year is back. The Richer Bridal Super Sale, January 8th to 11th at the Monte Casino Hotel, Shepherd and Cheswood. Over 1,000 top designer wedding gowns in all sizes starting at only $99. Tiaras, veils, evening wear, bridesmaids, flower girls, all on sale during this super sale event. Admission and parking are free. Don't miss the Richer Bridal Super Sale, January 8th to 11th at the Monte Casino Hotel. Visit richer.com for details.
The machine is everywhere, watching us with 10,000 eyes. Nine digits, that's all we get.
Closed captioning of this CP24 program is brought to you by Diamond & Diamond Personal Injury Lawyers. 1-800-567-HURT.
Welcome back. Recovery efforts continue for the victims of AirAsia Flight 8501. Friends and family of the victims prayed for strength as the first bodies were returned to Surabaya to begin the long identification process. Heavy winds and rains have hampered the recovery operations on the Java Sea. Now, the search continues for the cockpit voice recorder and flight data recorder, but there are fears now that this bad weather is causing the wreckage of the plane to drift further from its original crash site. The flight was carrying 162 passengers and crew when it vanished from the radar on Sunday. And the last group of people rescued from the Norman Atlantic, that ferry that arrived in Italy, have finally made dry land this morning. The ship caught fire earlier in the week with 400 plus on board, and so far we know of at least 10 people that died. Italian prosecutors on Tuesday ordered this crippled ferry back to port in Italy as part of a criminal investigation. A Canadian-born woman who now lives in Greece with her family is among the survivors, and here she is to describe the chaos and terror on board that ship.
It was everywhere. It was on the deck. It was underneath the floor that we were standing on. There was total panic. People were screaming. People were crying. People were running about. There was no direction. There was no crew. We had to find our own life vests. We had to search for children's life vests for the boys. Yeah, that was it. And we thought this was the end of it. This was it for us.
And we're getting our first look at some new video that was taken on board the ferry after the fire broke out. It was shot by a Turkish passenger. Now, they spent 2 days on the upper deck as the lower deck and the garage continued to burn. And you can see all that thick smoke coming from the ship and the passengers waiting to be rescued. You're watching Toronto's breaking news. CP24 2015 is almost here for us, and for many, that means setting new goals. When we come back, we'll provide some tips for making your New Year's resolutions stick.
These two measures will cost us more than $3 billion this fiscal. News Talk 1010 has reaction.
Are you in debt as a result of a motor vehicle accident and you need help now?
If you were a victim of an accident,
call our 24-hour hotline anytime
to speak personally with a representative.
Trust the name you know.
Diamond and Diamond.
New from OLG, NHL Lotto. Select your favorite team. Or ask for a quick pick and go for it. $2 for 3 shots on net. You could win up to $15,000 in store. Plus, keep your ticket for the $100,000 nightly draw. New from OLG, NHL Lotto. Take your best shot.
My grandson's got this blankie that gets filthy. But he's got such sensitive skin that you worry about what you use in the laundry. So I use new Tide Pods, free and gentle, to get a deep clean that's gentle on skin.
Ooh. New Tide Pods, free and gentle.
Tribute Communities creates dream homes. What makes your Tribute special?
My Tribute.
It's a hip urban address that really says me.
My Tribute.
A new home where nature and design live in harmony.
My Tribute.
A place where growing up is fun.
Where the best days of our lives come together. Winner of the J.D. Power Award for highest in customer satisfaction with new home builders in the GTA. A tradition of excellence for over 30 years.
Welcome back, everybody. Less than 12 hours now to make those New Year's resolutions, and here's some tips to help you stick to your goals. Experts say the #1 thing to keep in mind is be realistic. That includes setting a realistic time frame for making change. They also say it's easier to achieve your goals if they have something to do with self-improvement and learning. And depending on what your goal is, experts say you need to be prepared to learn from your mistakes and celebrate the small steps, the little victories. And make sure that you don't become too stressed out. They say having some fun along the way will certainly help. It's 11:27 -8. You're watching Toronto's breaking news. CP24, it's New Year's Eve. It's a beautiful live shot at Nathan Phillips Square. Coming up, we'll tell you everything you need to know to get ready for the big night tonight.
I need your used watches. Omega, Tag, Movado. Top dollar goes to Cartier, Patek Philippe and Rolex, Breitling, IWC, Panerai, and many, many more. My cash for your watches. Oh, yeah.
This Duracell truck has some very special power. It's filled with Duracell quantum batteries. These red batteries are so powerful that this year they'll power all the Hasbro toys donated to Children's Miracle Network. Want to help power some smiles? Duracell, trusted everywhere.
It's Alexanian's biggest clearance event ever, and we're dropping prices on all inventory store-wide. So if you need new carpet or flooring, come in now and save 30 to 70%. Beautiful wool carpet to gorgeous hardwood, luxury vinyl plank, tiles, area rugs, and more at 30 to 70% off. Plus, take advantage of huge savings on all window coverings and 6 months to pay OAC. Incredible savings like never before during Alexanian's inventory clearance. Alexanian's.
Don't pick the flowers. Don't walk on the grass. No running. No jumping. Sit still. The rules can wait. Right now, just play freely in Pampers Cruisers. They adapt at the waist, legs, and bottom with up to 12 hours of protection for our best protection and fit. And all the freedom to play. Just act your age. Wishing you love, sleep, and play. Pampers.
Dad, can I run the Oakville store?
Oh, yeah.
Bring us your gold, watches,
Diamonds, jewelry. We will loan you cash.
If you need money, come down.
Oakville is the good location.
Cash on the spot. Oakville, baby.
We're live this morning above Times Square in Manhattan. where final preparations are underway ahead of tonight's New Year's Eve celebration. It's 11:30 and it is -8. From 299 Queen Street West, you're watching Toronto's breaking news. CP24, good morning. I'm George Lagajanis, and in just a matter of hours now, we'll all be saying farewell to 2014 and hello to a brand new year. There's a live shot of some youngsters having fun on the ice rink there at Nathan Phillips Square. Thousands will be gathering there tonight to ring in 2015. And this year, our new mayor, John Tory, will help lead the countdown. Artie Zakarian is among the crowd down there at Nathan Phillips Square. Joins us with more, and things are starting to pick up.
Yes, that's right. Lots of skaters here on the ice, and the stage is set. The speakers are set. We are ready to party here at Nathan Phillips Square. CP24 will be here too. The festivities start at 8 o'clock tonight. There will be musicians, there will be performers, and then the countdown will happen, and then there will be an 8-minute fireworks show, all choreographed to some music. There will be road closures as well in the area. So Bay Street will be closed from from Queen actually until Dundas until 12:30. So from 11 o'clock at night until just after midnight. And with me right now is Dylan, Stewart, and Connor. You guys are from?
Oshawa.
Okay, and this is your first time here. Tell me, how was this experience?
Oh, it's fantastic. We just got here about 20 minutes ago, and it's wonderful. A little chilly, but once you get moving, it's great.
And what about you? It's your first time skating?
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome here, so yeah, I like it.
You like it. And tell me, you are going to ring in the new year this year, but before that, you're catching a special hockey game. What's that?
The World Juniors hockey game.
And do you know who you're watching today?
Not really.
Dad?
Sweden and Switzerland.
And Switzerland. So that's a really awesome present that you guys are getting. Are you excited to go?
Yes.
Okay. And what about tonight? What do you have planned for this evening?
After a busy day down here, our plan's probably just to go home and lay low and spend time together as a family.
It sounds like a cozy night to spend together. Do you change it up every year, or do you do the same thing every year?
We do. Sometimes it's with friends. Whatever, short notice comes up, that's often the most fun for us.
Okay. Sounds wonderful. Thank you so much for that. And that's how my New Year's plans go, too. I just go with the flow. Whatever happens, happens. I don't plan anything. Back to you, George.
Yeah, you know what? I'm the same way. Live in the moment, man. Good stuff,
Exactly.
Artie. Thanks very much. Well, if you're looking for that last-minute bottle of bubbly to pop at midnight, you won't have all night. The LCBO is reminding shoppers of its New Year's Eve hours. Most stores will close tonight at 6 ahead of the big parties. Now, the LCBO will be closed completely tomorrow all day, but they'll open again on Friday with regular business. And if you got some last-minute shopping to do, some gifts to buy, and errands to run ahead of tonight's celebrations, you've still got time. Most businesses are open today, but they might be closing early. As for tomorrow, it is a stat holiday, so lots is closed, including banks, post offices, most grocery stores, beer stores, and the LCBO. But you can do some shopping tomorrow. The Eden Centre opens at noon till 5 p.m. Square 1, Bramalea City Centre, and Vaughan Mills Mall all open as well. And with the New Year's Eve celebrations taking place across the city, there is no shortage of options to help you get around safely. Nathan Downer joins us now live with more. In public transit, that's probably your best bet, I guess.
Yeah, it is, and there's a lot of options available with that. The TTC, for one, they're offering free service beginning at 7 o'clock tonight, all the way until tomorrow morning at 7 in the morning, and they're also extending service on routes, including their streetcars as well. Go Transit, can't forget about them. They're also doing some things to make things a little easier for those who are heading out for New Year's. Anne-Marie Aiken's joining us now from Metrolinx, and good to hear that Go Transit's also offering some options.
We are. So first off, we're offering early homebound this afternoon, so you can get ready for that party. And then after 8 o'clock, you don't have to tap with your Presto card, and you get to get on the Go Transit system right across our system, buses, trains, free. And then we'll have late night service as well for you.
How late will you go tonight?
The last trains leave around 2:20, so you better check your schedule to see what time your train's going to leave.
Very nice and good to hear. In terms of extended service, what does that mean? It's not all hands on deck, is it?
Yes, it is. We have so you'll have extra trains this afternoon taking you home, and the buses, and all the trains will be operating, all the buses will be operating with extra service. So, and we're actually asking people to make sure they plan ahead when they get to the Go parking lot. Don't be driving home drunk when you get to the Go parking lot. So just chances are you won't have sobered up during that train trip. So.
And what's your message for those who, you know, they're in that party mood and they're on the Go trains, their behavior?
Well, just continue to be happy. We do notice that people get a little boisterous when they've had a little too much to drink. Any fighting, you're going to be tossed off that train, off that bus. So best to behave and keep your feet off the seats too.
All right, thanks for your time. Great reminder. One other point, the TTC, they're offering free parking as well, beginning at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Back to you.
Nathan, thanks so much. Right around the world, celebrations are underway already to welcome 2015. They've already rung in 2015 in New Zealand. That happened at 6 a.m. our time. What you're looking at is the fireworks lighting up the skies in Auckland, New Zealand, next to the Sky Tower. There's a spectacle at 8 this morning our time. Sydney, Australia welcomed 2015. This was happening over the Sydney Harbour Bridge. Now, the fireworks lit up the skies there. This is one of the world's most popular New Year's Eve celebrations and destinations. They also set off a smaller display of fireworks earlier in the evening to accommodate families with young kids that wanted to see before they conked out. Hong Kong ran in the new year in style with an elaborate fireworks display. In Taiwan, thousands gathered in the nation's capital to welcome 2015 with a countdown and another huge display of fireworks. Beijing also celebrated the beginning of the new year at the Olympic Park. That's the Bird's Nest Stadium. Huge fireworks display here as well. Just incredible. And there's a live shot overhead from Times Square in Manhattan, where the big ball is set to drop at midnight. The Waterford crystal ball weighs about 12,000 pounds, features almost 3,000 crystal triangles. This New Year's Eve tradition began all the way back in 1907. And for a look at celebrations around the world, you can go to our website, CP24.com. Okay, let's check traffic and weather now. We'll begin with a look at the short-term forecast, upstairs and outside. Here's Jamie.
Thanks again, George. It's quite cloudy. We continue to lose a lot of the sunshine and the clear conditions we had when we started the breakfast show. But the temperatures, not so pretty for today. We have temperatures well below seasonal, only warming up to about -6. And we also need to point out that there's still a few localized snow squall watches and warnings in effect. And we've been seeing a whole bunch of lake effect flurries off the southeastern shores of Lake Huron, and that's been creeping into the downtown core as well. So right now, -7 feels more like -16. So we're almost at our daytime high. It's going to feel a lot cooler with the wind chill. And coming up in the full 5-day forecast, we'll let you know how the rest of the week and the weekend will play out. Those details up in a few minutes.
Let's head up to the 401. A little bit of snow and a lot of traffic right now, mostly on the west end, including eastbound on the 401 as you get past the 427. Westbound is slow, too. We had a couple of problems off to the side, westbound on the 401 through Kipling. Look out for it. There's a stalled vehicle affecting at least one lane on the exit ramp from eastbound 401 to Leslie. MTO and Toronto Fire Department on scene. Don Valley Parkway, it's on the slow side. On the southbound, Don Valley Parkway, northbound gets slow starting near Eglinton and actually through Lawrence, not all that bad. We do see a few snowflakes. Gardner, busiest part of the Gardner is eastbound as you go round the bend through Jameson. That's actually busier now than it was during the morning rush. Problem spot from Peel Regional Police out at Bloor and Fieldgate. George.
Bob, thanks for that. The Special Investigations Unit is now probing a fatal shooting involving police after a reported robbery at the Warden subway station last night. Cam Woolley joins us now live from the scene with the latest on the investigation.
Morning, George. I'm just going to step out of the way and show you the scene. I've been talking with the SIU forensics folks, and they're going to be some time. They're using a total station to map the entire scene here. We're at 682 Warden Avenue. It's a Toronto community housing building that's about 650 meters south of the Warden subway. The trouble did start in the Warden subway. A witness called 911 at 12:16 this morning while he was actually apparently witnessing what appeared to be an armed robbery of a TTC collector. Witness reported a man pointing what looked like a firearm at the ticket collector, who handed some cash over to the man. The witness was able to give an excellent description to Toronto Police. 41 Division officers proceeded very quickly to the area along with major crime unit officers, and they tracked the suspect down to an area behind 682 Warden Avenue. The SIU investigators tell us that there was what they call an interaction between police officers and the suspect outside the building at the rear. Witnesses say they heard 4 gunshots and saw police doing CPR on the suspect. Paramedics attended. The man was pronounced dead here at the scene. People in the building tell us the man's a resident of the building. He'd moved in fairly recently. We're hearing from his friends he'd had a bit of a troubled past, substance abuse, as well as some trouble with the law. SIU are investigating the police use of force here, while Toronto police are investigating the armed robbery aspect of this. Back to you.
Cam Woolley live in Scarborough. Thanks for those details. And police have arrested a 2nd to 14-year-old boy after a string of purse snatchings near Bathurst and Front. There were, in fact, 4 separate incidents just this past Sunday. In every case, women say they were approached by 2 young boys demanding that they hand over their purse. In one instance, the victim claims that one of those teens had a gun, produced it, and actually fired a shot into the ground. The first suspect was arrested yesterday. And police here in Toronto are also preparing to address the press this afternoon on the 3-year anniversary of the death of Mike Pimentel. The 24-year-old was fatally stabbed in Liberty Village after leaving a New Year's Eve party at a nightclub near the X. Now, police believe he got separated from his group and ended up with another and then involved in some sort of altercation. Now, since then, police have been tweeting out clues of this unsolved case, hoping anyone with any information will come forward. Again, officers will be speaking to the media this afternoon at 2 at the intersection where the homicide took place. In sports, Canada takes on its arch rivals, the Americans, today at the World Junior Hockey Championships. It's the final round-robin game of the tournament for both countries. Now, today's game will determine who finishes on top of Group A. Eric Comrie gets a start in net for Canada after his 17-save shutout against the Germans earlier in the round. TSN's Mark Masters joins us now with an update on the matchup.
It's one of those decisions where the coach is a genius if it works, and if it doesn't work, he doesn't know what he's talking about, right? You got Zach Fucale. He's from Quebec. He's a Habs prospect. He's played well. He beat the Americans on New Year's Eve last year, but Eric Comrie's had better numbers in the WHL and the CHL this season. He played really well against the Germans. I think the coaching staff wants to see what he can do on the big stage. He's never really played a lot of big games in his career. He's only played 6 playoff games in his WHL career, so this will be the biggest stage of his life in his career, and they're really eager to see how he responds. And then if he plays well, that's a good problem to have because he got 2 good goalies going.
If you saw the Canada-Finland game, you know the pace and skill level was through the roof. It's going to be even better for this game. Don't miss it. Puck drops at 4 p.m. at the Bell Centre in Montreal. Canada versus the United States. You can catch the whole game live on TSN. You're watching Toronto's breaking news, CP24. The recovery operation continues for the victims of that Air Asia flight that crashed in the Java Sea. We'll have the latest on that story on the other side of the break.
For me, one of the biggest stories of 2014 was the provincial election. Kathleen Wynne was shackled with the gas plant scandal. Tim Hudak's promised to cut 100,000 public service jobs. Andrew Horwath triggered the election by not supporting a left-leaning budget, so we went into election with all 3 leaders a whole lot to lose. I was with Kathleen Wynne during election night. I was not that prepared for that big of a win, and for the Conservatives losing that many seats.
The hard work is now going to start.
It changed things. It changed the landscape of Ontario.
Last week was my birthday, so I made a wish that's close to my heart, leaving something behind for our family. Then I heard about RBC Guaranteed Acceptance Life Insurance. It's for people between 50 and 75 thinking about their family's future. Our grandson is an amazing little guy. We'd love to help pay for his university. I picked up the phone and it was good news. My husband and I were accepted on the spot, and rates start as low as $25 a month. Even better, there's no medical exam and no medical questions. RBC Insurance told me our premiums will never increase and our coverage will never be canceled. Being covered for up to $25,000 made us feel good too. That's more than enough to cover final expenses, plus a special way to show them we cared. And knowing we're with RBC Insurance was icing on the cake. Next year's birthday wish? Another grandchild, of course. Call 1-877-595-7224 and talk with an RBC Insurance advisor today.
Welcome back. The last group of people rescued from that Greek-operated ferry, the Norman Atlantic, arrived this morning in Italy. Now, the ship caught fire earlier in the week with more than 400 on board, and so far we know at least 10 died. Italian prosecutors on Tuesday ordered the crippled ferry back to Bari, an Italian port city, as part of a criminal investigation. A Canadian-born woman who now lives in Greece with her husband and 2 sons is among the survivors. And here she is, in her own words, to describe the chaos and terror on board that ship.
We just sort of looked at each other. We said goodbye to the boys. We told them we love them. There was panic in their eyes. They were terrified. The worst thing you could ever do as a parent. And we were just sitting there hugging each other in the middle of this chaos because there wasn't anything we could do or anywhere we could go. And at that point, though, where the 50 people were trying to get onto the lifeboat, the floor started burning up. So everybody ran away screaming in panic. And my husband grabbed this opportunity to pull us down the stairs, to put us over the railing, and push the boys into this lifeboat, me and himself. At the end, we were the last people in this lifeboat. And the scary part was that we were dealing with 20-meter waves. So the lifeboat was swinging away from the ship, and it was banging into it. And I saw a lady fall into the sea.
And we're getting our first look now at some new video taken on board the ferry after the fire broke out. Take a look at this. It was shot by a Turkish passenger. Now, they spent 2 days on the upper deck as the lower deck and the garage continued to burn. Take a look at all that thick black smoke you saw coming from the ship and all those passengers just waiting to be rescued. And the recovery operation continues for the victims of Air Asia Flight 8501. Friends and family praying for the victims and praying for strength as the first bodies were returned to Surabaya to begin the identification process. Heavy rainfall and winds have hampered the recovery operations on the Java Sea. The search continues for the cockpit voice recorder and flight data recorder, but there are fears now that the bad weather is causing the wreckage to drift further away from its original crash site. The plane was carrying 162 people when it disappeared off the radar on Sunday. And the death toll in the Philippines is rising. It's gone up to 53 after a tropical storm has lashed that country. Now, most of the dead were in the central island provinces, which were also devastated by last year's Typhoon Haiyan. Mudslides are causing most of the worst damage, trapping people in their homes and under meters of debris. More than 136,000 people have fled their communities and taken refuge in higher ground and emergency shelters. Now, the forecasters say the storm is weaker. It should dissipate by the end of the day over the west end of the country. Autopsies on the 9 bodies recovered in the worst mass murder in the history of Edmonton will be finished by tomorrow. Police say a man killed 6 adults and 2 children under the age of 10 before taking his own life. Now, the motive for the massacre appears to be a planned and deliberate act of domestic violence. According to police, the suspected gunman had a long criminal record involving violence and drugs dating back to 1987. CTV's Melanie Nagy is in Edmonton and joined us a short time ago with this update.
This all began Monday evening when police were called to a home in the southwest area of Edmonton. When they arrived, they found Cindy Duong dead. They believe the suspect went into the home, opened fire, and then fled. Then this brings us to where we are now. Police were called to this home about 90 minutes later. That's where they were called on a suspicious case of a suicidal male, possibly. When they came, they said nothing was suspicious, so they left. But when they returned shortly after midnight, that's when they made the grim discovery here.
A memorial is growing outside the first home where victims were found as mourners are now leaving flowers in memory of those dead. First responders to the scene are also being offered counseling to help them deal with the trauma that they experienced. Traffic and the long-range forecast are coming up after this break. It's 11:49 and -7. You're watching Toronto's breaking news, CP24.
He says he gets anxiety attacks.
Should toughen up.
He says he gets anxiety attacks.
Should toughen up.
He says he gets anxiety attacks.
Should toughen up.
He says he gets anxiety attacks.
My sister gets them. It's very tough. I'll call him.
If you've been the victim of a car or slip and fall accident, there is only one law firm and one telephone number you need to know. The Presler Law Firm at 1-800-JUSTICE. Call us today for a free consultation, and remember, you don't pay unless we recover money for you.
This one loves to buy in bulk, like this cheap detergent.
It was buy one, get two free.
Well, that doesn't help when we have to do the laundry 3 times. So now I stick to Tide. Now all our mistakes are behind us.
Like your cargo shorts?
3 washes in the Barton brand can't clean like 1 wash in Tide.
A woman carrying grocery bags enters a sun-filled kitchen.
Is anybody home?
She spies a mouse on the counter. She drops her groceries. A woman carrying grocery bags enters a dimly lit kitchen.
Is anybody home?
A masked child scares her. She drops her groceries. Did you see the difference? Not everyone can. That's why we have Describe Video for people who are blind or partially sighted. To learn more, visit AMI.ca or call 1-855-855-1144. Brought to you by the Canadian Association of Broadcasters.
I have seen things you wouldn't believe.
Closed captioning of this program is brought to you in part by 2001 Audio Video Boxing Week event continues from your home entertainment experts. 2001.
Welcome back. A little bit of sunshine, a little bit of blue sky. Trying to peek through there, Jamie, but no delusions of warmth today.
No, absolutely. You know, we did start off the morning with some nice sunshine, clear conditions, but as you look up, George, starting to get quite cloudy here in the downtown core. So throughout the rest of today, we'll be dealing with a mix of sun and cloud. Thankfully, we're not going to be dealing with any kind of snow squalls like our friends up towards Barrie and Aurelia and Grey Bruce are dealing with right now. You can see the pictures on Doppler 24. And over the next 12 hours, those regions could potentially see about 10 up to 15 centimeters of snow. So if you are maybe heading up to see some family up around those regions, you might want to take it a little easy on the roads, especially with the high winds as well. Right now, temperatures -7 to about -9 across the GTA. Here in Toronto, though, it feels more like -15, -18 through Hamilton. That's been a chilly start to the day, no doubt. It was about -20 a couple hours ago. So for today, -6 as your high, -4 for tomorrow. Cloudy, flurries are expected. Moving into Friday, we're back to seasonal values of -1. A few flakes in store. It's going to be quite windy throughout the rest of your weekend. Cool west winds. 5 to 10 centimeters of snow could fall by Saturday evening into Sunday morning. 0 degrees for your Saturday. We're warming up to a nice 4 degrees on Sunday. Unfortunately, we're calling for some mixed precipitation, and it is going to be quite windy with a significant drop in the temperatures throughout the overnight lows. About a 15-degree difference from your daytime high and your overnight low on Sunday. Tonight's overnight low is around -10, and once we bring in the new year, it's probably going to feel closer to around -18. So bundle up, everybody. Let's send it back inside for a look at traffic.
Well, we've had some snowflakes, actually mostly out in the west end. That's where we're seeing the slow traffic, including especially eastbound on the 401, starting before the 427, past the 427, through as far as Islington. And actually, the problem to the side, westbound express lanes near Islington. We had a problem on the ramp, eastbound 401 to Leslie. It's not really backing things up. Out in the east end, we're actually seeing that things are a little bit brighter. No sign of snowflakes out to the other side of Morningside. Top end of the Don Valley Parkway, a little bit busy. Southbound down as far as Lawrence. Northbound gets slow before Eglinton. And the Gardner Expressway, a little bit on the busy side as you go round the bend through Jameson. We're actually seeing a little bit of sunshine through that stretch. In-town problem spot from Toronto Police. There's a collision at Main and Kingston Road. George.
Thanks, Bob. It's 11:54 and -7. You're watching Toronto's breaking news. CP24. So apparently what you put on your toast says a lot more about you than what you just like for breakfast. We'll tell you what that is coming up.
What's the going rate?
Your mother's a weed dealer.
I'll cut you in.
I got a better deal for you.
Awesome.
Little boxes on the hillside. Little boxes made of ticky-tack. Little boxes on the hillside.
Well, it's getting late, huh?
I'll call you a cab. No need. I'm driving.
Drinking and driving should never be the elephant in the room. Speak up. You could save a life. A message from the LCBO.
It's demolished the competition for years. Gravedigger. It's burst onto the
seeing and grab headlines. Northern Nightmare. Now it's time to settle the score. Old school versus new rules. The Maple Leaf Monster Jam Tour. Brought to you by Parts Canada and BKT, the official tire of Monster Jam. January 17th and 18th. See 12 Monster Jam superstars, including El Toro Loco, Max D, driven by Tom Metz, and the debut of Scooby-Doo. Plus, you asked for it, and we're bringing it. Freestyle, January 17th and 18th. Rogers Center.
This holiday season,
if you can take it, you can make it.
experience one of the most incredible
Who is the Olympic athlete?
and uplifting true stories ever told.
If I can take it, I can make it.
Unbroken, now playing in theaters everywhere.
Why didn't I call you sooner? This is one question that we repeatedly hear from victims of car or slip and fall accidents who don't contact us immediately. Some people miss their deadlines to file a claim. Others call us in time and learn very quickly how we can help them get the compensation they deserve. If you've been injured in a car or slip and fall accident, there's no reason not to call the Presler Law Firm today at 1-800-JUSTICE. The call is free, the consultation is free, and most importantly, you don't pay unless we recover money for you.
Welcome back from coast to coast like butter on toast. Apparently what you do to dress your bread says a lot about your personality. According to a new study, achievers eat hot white toast and dip their butter knife in the jam. Perfectionists, well, they like to cut off the crust and then cut the toast into little triangles. The protector out there chooses thinly sliced whole wheat bread with honey. And if you believe in the statement, you only live once, you tend to go for the thicker cut sort of Texas toast white bread, burnt, smothered in jam. The study actually revealed 15 different personality types solely based on the subconscious decisions that we make over our breakfast bread. Okay, we've all been there, right? The headache, the shakiness, the twitches, sensitivity to light. It's called a hangover. Medical experts say that a cure for the New Year's Day hangover is pretty simple. They say it's important to drink about as much water as you did booze the night before. Stay away from the greasy foods too. That's a myth. It's not going to help you the morning after. It actually makes you feel worse. They say opt for healthy proteins and carbs instead. Last tip, get some rest. Experts say there's no immediate fix and sleep is really your best option. 11:57, -7. You're watching Toronto's breaking news at CP24. It's New Year's Eve. And parties are happening around the world. We'll explain everything you need to know to get ready for the big night tonight. Coming up next on Live at Noon, that's Times Square, by the way. The big ball's dropping at midnight. And wow, that's what it looked like in, I'm not sure, somewhere in Asia, Hong Kong. Beautiful stuff. Well, that's it for me. See you next year. Pooja and Steph will have your New Year's Eve survival guide at the top of the clock.
Do you have good credit, bad credit, no credit? Don't worry. Come to see me if you need a loan. I, Russell, the loan arranger Oliver, will give you a loan immediately. Bring me your gold, diamonds, watches, jewelry, and you will get a loan in a matter of minutes. Oh, yeah.
I like to say that I speak to live and I live to speak. Visually connecting with an audience is a fundamental of what I do. So when I began to have trouble seeing well, both up close and distance, I knew I had to do something. Fortunately, I was a candidate for laser vision correction, and the procedure that was right for me really did the job. I love being a professional motivator. This is what my life is about, and it always will be.
Discover your vision for living at Herzig Eye Institute. Your baby will feel like dancing when they wake up dry in Pampers Baby Dry. While ordinary diapers only have 2 layers, Baby Dry has 3 absorbent layers, so it stays up to 3 times drier for up to 12 hours of protection and good mornings. Wishing you love, sleep, and play, Pampers. And for outstanding leak protection while potty training, try Pampers Easy Ups.
Tribute Communities creates dream homes. What makes your Tribute special?
My Tribute.
It's a hip urban address that really says me.
My Tribute. A new home where nature and design live in harmony. My Tribute.
A place where growing up is fun.
Where the best days of our lives come together. Winner of the J.D. Power Award for highest in customer satisfaction with new home builders in the GTA. A tradition of excellence for over 30 years.
I am now buying your silver jewelry. Bring me your silver coins, and I will buy your silver dollars, your silver quarters, your silver dimes. I mostly buy your gold and diamond jewelry, but now I'll pay top dollar for your sterling silver jewelry. Oh, yeah.
Here at home, preparations are underway at Nathan Phillips Square this hour, where Mayor John Tory will help bring in the new year tonight. And there will be lots of options on how to get around the city safely tonight. Nathan Downer is live to tell us more. Good afternoon. Welcome to CP24 Live at noon. I'm Pooja Honda. Well, 2015 is just hours away, and preparations are underway for celebrations here in Toronto. We have a live look for you at Nathan Phillips Square this hour, where hundreds are expected to gather to ring in 2015 tonight. And this year, Mayor John Tory will lead the countdown. There will also be an 8-minute-long fireworks display at the stroke of midnight. The festivities get underway at 8 tonight. And with New Year's celebrations taking place across the GTA, plenty of options to get you around safely. We want to go live now to CP24's Nathan Downer. And I guess it's all about planning, Nathan.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we know people are going to be out bringing in the new year, having a great time with family and friends, maybe having a few drinks as well. But it's important to remember you can't drink and drive. And there are options available to you. For one, the TTC, they're offering free service beginning at 7 o'clock tonight till tomorrow morning at 7. Go Transit, they're also offering free service as well beginning at 8 o'clock tonight, so that's great. Uber, the ride-sharing service, they expect to be very busy tonight. The cab companies in the city say it'll be all hands on deck as well. Those are some other options for you. As for Toronto Police, they say that they're going to be busy tonight with their ride service, and they've got a reminder for drivers as well. We spoke with Constable Clint Stibbe earlier. Here's more from Toronto Police.
The ride patrols themselves, they've stopped and arrested 32 individuals. However, citywide, we've got approximately 179 people that we've actually arrested for impaired operation of a motor vehicle. So the numbers are quite high, and really, there shouldn't be any. This now is socially unacceptable for you to drink and drive. And keep in mind, there's also some drug driving in there as well. So impairment is not just by alcohol, but it can also be by drug.
Another great thing to know that for you is this: Toronto Transit, they're offering free parking at all their stations across the GTA. So if you're heading out, you can park your car there, leave, and then cab it home or take the TTC home. So really, again, lots of options to choose from. Pooja.
Indeed. All right. Thanks so much, Nathan. We want to now check in with Stephanie Smythe for a preview of what's coming up on Live at Noon. Hi, Steph.
Hi, Pooja. Well, as we head into the new year, we're going to continue to look back at 2014. Some of the top stories, including the outcome of the Ontario election and the Ottawa shooting back in October. And New Year's just around the corner, as we all know, so we're getting set to host, Toronto's getting set to host that party at Nathan Phillips Square. Now, how are you going to get there? We're also going to be talking about transportation, the TTC tonight. It's free. And Andy Byford, the CEO, is going to stop by and talk to us about riding the TTC, which he does every New Year's Eve, Pooja. And also, thinking about popping that bubbly to ring in the new year, we have a wine guy here, Andre Prolu from News Talk 1010, to talk about some wines that you might want to enjoy tonight. You still have time to get to the liquor store and get it. Back to you, Pooja.
Does that mean you're going to be doing some wine tasting, too?
No, we're going to be like adoring, or at least looking at the wine bottles, right? And I'll say, oh, that looks nice. I like that label. What's that like? But we won't be tasting. Unfortunately, that will be for later on.
Sounds good. All right. Thanks, Steph. Okay. We want to talk about your weather forecast now. We're joined by our weather specialist, Jamie Goodfoyle. Of course, a lot of people looking to the forecast for tonight, and it's going to be a chilly one. It's already so cold.
Yeah, and considering we've lost a lot of the sunshine and the clear conditions that we had, so the sunshine was not really warming things up a whole lot, but with this increasing cloudiness and the overcast conditions, yeah, it's not the most comfortable conditions right now in the downtown core. -7 feels more like -15 out towards Pearson. Wind gusts are a lot stronger here in Toronto, about 45 clicks. Now, snow squall watches and warnings still in effect in and around Cottage Country near Barrie and Orillia, Parry Sound, Muskoka. So -6 is about as warm as it's going to get for today. Still going to feel well into the mid-minus teens when you factor in the wind chill. And coming up in the full 5-day forecast, we'll let you know how New Year's Day will play out and also what you can expect this weekend. Those details up in a few minutes.
All right. Thank you, Jamie. Now, if you are looking for that last-minute bottle of champagne to pop at midnight, you won't have all night to get it. The LCBO reminding shoppers of its New Year's Eve hours. Most store locations will close tonight at 6 o'clock ahead of tonight's celebrations. The LCBO will be closed tomorrow, so keep that in mind, but it does reopen on Friday with regular hours. Now, as for tomorrow, which is a statutory holiday, banks and post offices will be closed. Most grocery stores will be closed, as well as beer stores and, of course, the LCBO. Now, you will be able to do some shopping. That's at the Eaton Center. It will open its doors at noon tomorrow and then remain open until 5 p.m. Square One will also be open, along with Bramalea City Center and Vaughan Mills Mall. In New Zealand, revelers have already rung in the new year. They ushered in 2015 at 6 a.m. in Auckland. Fireworks lit up the sky behind the Sky Tower. Wow, at 8 a.m., Sydney, Australia welcomed in 2015. This was the scene over the Sydney Harbour Bridge. Fireworks lit up the sky. This is one of the most popular New Year's Eve celebrations in the world. They also set off a display of fireworks earlier to accommodate families with young children. Hong Kong rang in the new year in style with an elaborate fireworks display and celebrations. In Taiwan, thousands gathered in the nation's capital to welcome 2015 with a countdown and fireworks. And Beijing also celebrated the start of the new year in Olympic Park by lighting up the stage and stadiums and launching a fireworks display. We have some live pictures for you at Times Square in New York City. We know the ball set to drop at midnight. The Waterford Crystal Ball, by the way, it weighs nearly 12,000 pounds and it features almost 3,000 crystal triangles. The first New Year's Eve ball lowering celebration in Times Square, that was held back in 1907. You can always head to our website, CP24.com, if you want to take a look at live streaming of New Year's celebrations around the world.